You're listening to Ideas and Leaders podcast. I'm Elena Paweta, Executive Communication Coach and TEDx organizer. With each episode, I'll share with you communication tips and ideas from top business leaders to help you excel in your career. Welcome to the next episode of Ideas and Leaders podcast. Today we have a great businesswoman in our episode. So I'm speaking with Frida Tronnberg. She's a yoga teacher and she's specializing in yoga for pelvic floor, and she's working in Sweden only for a Swedish audience, but she managed to build a great following. She has a lot of followers on Instagram, a lot of clients, satisfied clients, and she has built this business only working with people with women who have issues with their pelvic floor. And today we will be speaking about how to build the following, how to find your ideal clients working in such a narrow, interesting niche. Hi, Frida.
Hi, Elena.
It's great to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
So, Frida, you have almost 10,000 followers on Instagram now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
So why did you start your Instagram channel in the first place? Did you plan to have to make a big business out of it? And how did you get to this number of 10,000 followers?
Well, I started my Instagram account, I think it's 2.5 years ago now, approximately. And the reason why I started it was I didn't have a business at the moment. I had suffered a birth injury when my daughter was born. And I tried to get help from the healthcare system, from doctors, but it took me 5 doctors before my birth injury was diagnosed. So it took a lot of effort for me to get the help. And the pain, I had severe pain in my pelvic floor at the moment, and no one could really help me. So then I started Googling and I started doing some research, and I was a yoga teacher at that point also. But then I took different trainings, postnatal trainings, and also pelvic floor yoga teacher training, and a bunch of other trainings too, actually to heal my own pelvic floor, to make the pain go away, because the pain was there because I had so much tension in the muscles in the pelvis, which is the pelvic floor. So when that's the background story, so I started my Instagram account as some kind of both therapy, I would say, for myself, like journaling, but also because I during the half year or 8 months when I was seeking help from the healthcare system, I had gotten to know so much information that it's so important to know when you're seeking help for these kind of issues in Sweden specifically. I knew which hospital that actually could help women with these disorders, pelvic floor disorders, because unfortunately not every hospital in Sweden is as experienced as some of these hospitals. So I wanted to share that knowledge, making people learn from my mistakes, so to speak, and also making women believe in themselves, and also I wanted to empower women to continue to seek help for their pelvic floor symptoms. And also I also started at that point to upload video clips on IGTV with different pelvic floor exercises to relax the pelvic floor, reduce pain, and exercises that were like 5 minutes long, but that gave you an instant effect. So that's the background of how I started out my Instagram account. It wasn't a business at all at the moment, and I had no plans whatsoever to make it a business.
So what do you think? What were those success factors? Why did you manage to grow this account so fast?
Extremely valuable content, really, for free. And that's still the reason why my Instagram account is still growing so much, because I'm giving away so much valuable content for free, such as like where to seek help in Sweden, but it could also be like these important exercises, like I said. And I have many women that they've never taken my courses. They have just released their pain and tension in the pelvic floor thanks to my videos on Instagram. And I think that's just so amazing, you know, that they find an account. They don't even have to pay any money, and the help is just there. The job for them is actually to do the exercises. So I think, you know, sharing valuable content, good videos, like very, very clear content, and short videos also.
Yeah, yeah. So sharing valuable content for sure helps you to grow your social media accounts. But at some point, you decided to monetize what you do, and you started conducting online courses. And how did you, when you started with your business, how did you define your ideal client?
So when I started my business, my ideal client was a woman who had given birth and who had a birth injury, and had pain in the pelvic floor because of this damage to the pelvic floor muscles. Because that was my story, you know. So I was actually speaking to myself basically. But then I realized, and I didn't know this at all, I realized that other women, younger women in the early 20s, they contacted me and they had never given birth, but they had pain in the pelvic floor, in the vulva, in the vagina, and they needed help from me, yoga techniques to relax their hypertonic pelvic floor. So then I needed to expand on my ideal clients. And now it's a woman aged 20 to 45 years old that has pain because of tension in her pelvic floor. So that was very interesting. You know, I started out as directing myself to women with birth injuries, but then a bunch of other clients came in. And I actually had to switch name also, I must say, because I had already a business name at the point directed to mothers. So my business name is in Swedish, but translated it would be Whole Mother. So it's only for mothers, you know. So I had to change that to it's called Whole Vagina or Whole Vulva. Mm-hmm. So mm-hmm. that's an interesting how it happened, you know, when I had to change.
Yeah, that's interesting that your clients defined it yourself after some time. This because first we think that our ideal client is a certain audience, but then after some time we may realize that our ideal client is a bit different.
Yeah.
So, and what do you think about niching down? Because you have a very narrow niche. So not only you're working only in Swedish language, but also you're working only with women, only with women who have issues with pelvic floor. What do you think about this? Is it helpful in business to have a really narrow niche, or do you think that maybe opening up would be beneficial for your business, for example?
Yeah, so there is this quote that if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one, right? And I really believe in that. And I definitely believe in niching down if you know that there is enough of clients there wanting to buy your course, or that enough clients there to listen to you. But I knew that, you know, because I've been going through this myself. I didn't get any help. There was no one who could help me. And at the same time, I was in this Facebook group with lots of women who had pelvic floor tightness. So I knew there's a bunch of women, they need help and no one is helping them. So then I knew that my niche would work because I kind of tried it out myself the hard way, you would say. And my niche is even more niche than saying that I help women who have pelvic floor issues. It's actually I'm helping women who have pelvic floor pain and tightness. And it's not even the pain, because pelvic pain can also be due to when you're pregnant, you know. And I'm not helping women with that. So that's another part of pelvic pain. I'm not doing that. So I'm helping women who have hypertonic pelvic floors that has given them pain. So that's even more niche, you know. It's
Yeah.
not even regular pelvic pain, because I'm not the pregnant women. I'm not helping them. I'm helping women who have like vulvodynia, vestibulitis, vaginismus. So that's chronic tightness and pain in the vulva or the vagina or in the muscle group. So where there is pain, there is definitely tightness that needs to be like solved and released.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it definitely helped you, and you have really successful business out of it, and you're helping a lot of women. So, what would you recommend to our listeners if they want, they have their ideal client in mind or the target audience, and they want to start sharing value to bigger amount of people? What would you recommend to grow their social media accounts? What tips and tricks could you recommend?
So it depends, of course, about of the business, but I'm all for IGTV, like the videos, like small videos with really good content. And also, I think it's important to also show the person who's watching the video the progress that they're actually making out of only a 5-minute video. So for instance, if I'm going to show them a video of how to reduce pain in the pelvic floor, I start my video with, okay, now scale your pain from 1 to 10. On a scale from 1 to 10, what level is your pain on right now? And then we do the exercise, and then they scale again, and then they will see that the pain has reduced at least by one number, maybe like 2, 3, sometimes a lot more. And then they know, wow, this actually gives me results. So so I think that's really important. The videos like show them how much result and how much progress that they can actually make by only making one video. And now, of course, I'm talking about I'm showing exercises, but I'm sure you can apply this mindset, that the result orientation mindset that I'm thinking of in other businesses as well.
Yeah, yeah. So, short videos, videos focused on achieving result
Yeah,
in certain areas, giving them small breakthroughs, small results, maybe
exactly.
snippets of your work. What do
Yeah.
you do?
Yeah, and also always telling them to share this with your friends, share this with any person you think might benefit from this. So talking about sharing it, and I must also mention Reels, the new function on Instagram, the Reels, which is amazing. So I did my first Reel 2 weeks ago, and I have 143,000 views, which is
Wow.
amazing. Yeah. So I'm really into Reels now, because it's just snippet 15 seconds or 30 seconds of very, very valuable content that you should squeeze into these 15 or 30 seconds. So I think Reels I will definitely experiment more with that, because I'm able to reach so many people by
Mm-hmm.
using that function now.
Yeah, yeah. Instagram Reels is really widely promoted now. Unfortunately, not yet available in
Yeah, I
Poland,
heard that. Oh.
which I'm not so happy about. But
Mm,
yes, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for it.
yeah.
And also, Instagram is very important now because of another new social media, Clubhouse, which is super popular now and which is connected with Instagram. So
Right. Yeah.
everyone you meet on Clubhouse goes immediately to your Instagram
Ah,
account. That's why
true.
it is important to give value, to show what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so short videos and reels and giving value all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that many people have barriers on this giving value because maybe they think that, oh, I will give away too much
Mm.
of what I have in my courses or in my programs. Don't
Yeah.
you aren't you afraid of this a little bit, sharing a lot of value on your social media?
At first, yes. At first, I was sitting with like the best information I had, and I was like, I'm going to share this only with those who buy my courses. But now, no, because the thing is, those who buy my course, they want to be able to be taken from step 1 to the last step when they definitely have reduced the pain or are already pain free. So I remember that I listened to Amy Porterfield's podcast, and I mean, she has hundreds of episodes. And she said that, yeah, probably if you listen to all my episodes, you will probably be able to to see like my course, but it's very hard, you know, because there's so many episodes. The same goes with my video clips. They're like 5 minutes long, and if you want to be taken from point A to point zeta, you know, the last letter, then they definitely need to buy my course then, to get some kind of structure also, because now there's a bunch of videos and you don't really know like which should you start with, or etc. So many people like to have the structure and they want the whole course. Yeah, the whole course. So I'm not afraid of that at all. And for me, it's just a bonus if people can watch my Instagram account and get like relieved from their pain by only doing these exercises on my Instagram account and not even buying my courses. For me, that's just a bonus because I know people will buy my courses anyway.
Yeah. So Frida, I know that usually when we start building our businesses, we start growing our social media accounts and having more and more followers, we always face criticism. And I wanted to ask you, did it happen to you that you faced some criticism because you have quite a big following? So did you face any criticism from your followers or from someone, I don't know, from not from your clients maybe?
Yeah, definitely. So whenever I get criticism, it's not that often, I must say, but I do. I mean, all large accounts will do. Statistically speaking, there will be someone there who doesn't like what you're doing, and that person wants to speak up her mind and tell you that. So that will definitely happen. So for me, it's the criticism I can get, it's coming from people who work in hospitals, so healthcare system. And I'm not medically trained, and I've never said that I am. And I also say that my course is a complement to healthcare. The problem is though, because I've been around for a while doing this like route, trying to get some help from the healthcare system, and it didn't really work. It took a while. So the women, they're trying to get help, but they're not getting any help. And then they find my course. And I always say that it's a complement to other treatments, and it definitely should be. But it's hard for these women because many times they're not getting any help, or not sufficient amount of help from the healthcare system. So so it's basically that, you know, that I'm not medically trained and I shouldn't be speaking about these topics. But whenever that happens, what I do then is I'm putting up lots of testimonials, because I have so many testimonials now, great testimonials from clients and from also followers who are getting pain relief by watching my videos. So I'm putting all the testimonials up on Instagram, sharing them, and then all of a sudden my account is like full of love again, you know. So
Yeah.
I feel like I know what I'm doing. I'm not medically trained, but at the same time, I'm not diagnosing anyone. I'm not really treating anyone either. I'm putting up a bunch of exercises, yoga exercises, and I'm trained in yoga for pelvic floor health, to help women actually empower themselves and to heal themselves. And many times, yeah, my course will not be enough. They also need help from other professions. But at the same time, I know that my course will be an amazing first step to reduce the pain, definitely. And I'm seeing it all the time. So just like up with the testimonials on Instagram, put them everywhere on your webpage. And I also think that it's very important to be humble and to have a good heart. I mean, that's something that is so important. And I think that's one of the reasons why I also built my account this way, that if I only would put up valuable content, but I would be, I don't know, bitter, angry, negative, I don't think that people would have listened to me. So for me, it's all about like leading and serving with the heart. I don't want to lose myself in my work. And the most important thing is to be vulnerable and to serve from the heart, and for me to remember who I am, even though my courses sell great. And even though I'm getting more and more followers every day, let's remember who you are, like why you started this account.
Mm.
It's important.
Yeah, this is very important what you say, because some people may get discouraged, and we start being super active. We are getting a lot of followers, a lot of
Mm.
clients. But then when we get even one negative comment somewhere
Yeah.
on social media, which is inevitable,
Mm.
we can get so discouraged and think, why am I doing this? And I had several conversations like this with people who started being active and got negative comments, and they just said, I don't know if this is the right thing that I'm doing. So they start
Mm.
doubting themselves, and only, because of one or two comments, although you have thousands of followers
Exactly.
who love what you do,
Mm.
those uh, those opinions can really have a bad impact. So
Mm.
for sure, putting up testimonials helps.
Mm.
And I think that you're dealing with this in a great way. What would you recommend in terms of also, this mental approach and mental health to still believe in yourself and not to stop doing what you're doing?
God, I think it's really hard, because I've been struggling with it, myself, definitely with, handling criticism from people who work in the healthcare system, etc. I think first and foremost, is this the criticism or feedback, whatever you want to call it, is it constructive? Is this something, is there something to be, should you take this into account? Should you maybe change something? Is this like a good criticism, or, making you change something so that your account will be better? And if it is, yeah, then maybe change something up, you know. So I think that's also important, not just like I will not listen to this, but if it's unconstructive criticism coming from a place of envy, I would say, or also maybe the person writing is a bit confused. I mean, who is this person? Pelvic floor yoga, what is that even? Coming in here in Sweden, being an influencer for women with birth injuries, what is this? If that criticism comes to me, then it's more about the person who is giving that criticism to me than it's about me.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
think that's really separating the different types of criticism that you are getting. Is this really about me, or is this about the person that writes this? And more often it's about the person who writes it. And what is nice now is that I have almost 10,000 followers. So anytime I'm getting criticism, I know my followers will back me up. So I will just lean back, not respond immediately to criticism. I think that's so important. I mean, you have to ground yourself first, because otherwise you will be, writing something that you might regret. You will not write it from like a regulated nervous system, I would say. You will react, and that will not be good at all. So I mean, people also listen to someone who is like calm, I would say, in the midst of a storm. So the way you react to criticism, that will also show people what you really are about. I mean, who do you listen to? Someone who's like giving a lot of critique and super angry, or the person who's getting that critique, but it's at the midst of the storm, is like, okay, here I'm going to respond to this like this. And I don't have to respond like 5 minutes after that comment was made. I'm going to regulate myself and coming down back into my body. And then I'm going to write back like in the place of like calmness and from my heart again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's important to think of.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, I always say also to my clients when we are working on communication aspects, negotiation aspects in business, that when we are in some kind of conflict situations, we get criticism. Exactly. Do not respond immediately
No.
with this criticism, because it is not only about this person; it is about all the other people who are listening to us and who are
Yeah.
reading and maybe in the copy of our emails and who are with us in the room. So we need to kind of show respect to the other person, to agree with them at some
Exactly.
point, to explain. But for sure, we need to maintain our credibility for all the other followers. So I think that,
Exactly. We and I think the most important thing that I've learned from getting criticism is really about that most often it's not about me, it's about the other person, where she or he is coming from. And also criticism is an opportunity for you to really show the world what your brand is about. You know, the way you are commenting on that criticism, if it's in a comment on Instagram, for instance, you can really, you know, show people what you are all about, which is not anger, not bitterness, not envy. It's really about serving and wanting to help people, right?
yes, absolutely. I love your approach.
Mm.
Yeah. So, Frida, what would you recommend to our listeners to sum up our interview? What would you recommend? What is the most important thing that they should do to build their following and to build their following out of their ideal clients, out of their raving fans?
One thing, well, that's really hard. I have like three things.
Okay, you can say three.
Okay, so three things. Free and valuable content. Definitely, like lots of free content, and don't be afraid to just give them all you have, because people will want to buy your courses anyway to get some kind of structure. But I think it's also important to be a good person, actually, to remember why you created this account, and doing things solely for money, it's not enough as a purpose. So really remember who you are, why you created this in the first place, even though if your Instagram account is really big and you're selling lots of courses, etc. Like really coming from a place of love and serving. That's really important. And also being vulnerable, I would say. I mean, I shared my story about the birth injury, for instance. That's important. That's an important background story to why I created my business, to why I created my company.
Mm-hmm.
And it also is an important background story for all my clients, because they know that Frida, she healed through this work. And if Frida can do it, I can do it.
Yes. And you are also a role model for your audience. And
Mm.
you're sharing so much free content and very valuable content. And I think that this is the key, not to be afraid to share with your audience as much as possible.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Frida. So if our listeners want to contact you, where they can find you?
I think the easiest way would be to contact me on my Instagram account then. So I will spell it, but it's helt underliv, which means whole vagina, whole vulva in Swedish. So it's HELT, and then it's UNDERLIV, helt underliv. So on Instagram, you can find me there.
Perfect. I will post the link to your Instagram also under our episode in the show notes, so that our listeners can contact you fast if they want to ask you additional questions. Thank you very much, Frida, for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Ideas and Leaders podcast. Did you enjoy this episode? Let me know that you listened by tagging me in your LinkedIn profile and using a hashtag Ideas and Leaders. See you in the next episode.